time to break loose from the chains. It's time for our freedom, Africa. Cause we can negotiate our freedom, no. Hundreds of years is gone. No Messiah came for the black man. Told us that Jesus died for us, but the black man still suffer. Truth be said, Africa will rise at the right time, and the time we're waiting for is right now. No one can hold the truth for a long time. Oh no, so stay awake. The sun is rising from the east, and the Messiah you're waiting right here. And no one is gonna try to stop that. I can hear a great call for justice. Freedom, let the sun rise. Freedom for Biafra. Freedom the Kano. Oh, a song of salvation. Freedom, let Africa rise. Freedom for Biafra. Freedom the Kano. Freedom the Kano. Freedom for Biafra. Freedom the Kano. Freedom Africa. White men fighting for self-determination is celebrated. Black men seeking for self-determination is the separatist and the terrorist. When they jail a black freedom fighter, they jailing African freedom. Don't I have rights to my self-determination? Is that a crime? Oh no. Don't I have rights to live? Don't I have rights to express myself? Don't I have rights to speak? Can't I complain if I'm marginalized? The genocide in the land that nobody even cared about. Even when I try to speak, my voice is muted every time. Like a slave in my land, I can't take it anymore. I hope the world is listening to my plight. I can hear a great call for justice. Freedom, let the sun rise. Freedom for Biafra. Freedom the Kano. Oh, the song of salvation. Freedom, let Africa rise. Freedom for Biafra. Freedom the Kano. Freedom the Kano. Freedom for Biafra. Oh, 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 oh. Freedom the Kano. Freedom Africa.
the Igbos politicians are useless. Very, very useless. The governors of Southeast are very, very useless. The Indigo as a Igbo socio-cultural group is also a very useless organization. The Southeast governors are so useless, they are useless to themselves, and they are even useless to their people. If not because these people are so useless, I see no reason that Nnamdi Kanu should still be in detention. Dramatically kidnapped in Kenya, brought into this country, and then dramatic allegation against him. For many years, he has been in detention. And look at what is happening in the north. The play of shame and disgrace in the north. The northern politician actually agitated for the forgiveness of Boko Haram. Boko Harams were forgiven, clothed, they were given money, clothes, and they were even fed with rice and chicken. And look at the recent disgrace and shame, the display of disgrace and shame of this country in Katsina. Just this week, where bandits and headers came with their ammunition, talking with tenacity and without any fear, with ammunitions, AK-47s, with ammunition, come for peace reconciliation. They were bossy and talking to Nigerians and federal government as if they were addressing school children. And yet Kanu is in detention. And somebody will not tell me that the Eastern governors are useless. Look, the South need to wake up. Oh. The South need to wake up. Because what the North is doing is actually it's so dramatic and so disgustful and so it's so shame and it's so disgusting to the extent that you ask either we have one country, we ask either we even have a constitution in this country. Do we have a constitutional authority in this country? Different rules for different regions and for different people. Nigeria is a joke.
For different people, different laws for different people in that contraption called Nigeria. Nigeria is indeed a joke. Nigeria is not meant for human habitation. Nigeria is a British construct. Nigeria is a British company handed over to the Fulanis to control, to manage. That is why you see, you experience, that is why what is happening in Nigeria is happening, and nobody is really responsible. Nobody you can hold responsible as who is actually in control of that evil construction called Nigeria. Good morning, Biafrans. Good afternoon, good evening. Depending on your location and your time. And I welcome you this morning to the questionnaire. I'm going to be very brief. I'm not going to take long because this message, I want it to be very, very brief, straight to the point. But I want to indulge you, my wonderful Biafrans all over the world, those who are listening now, and those who may listen later. I want you to share it. Share it to platforms. Share it to different social media platforms as well in WhatsApp. Because the time has come, and the time is now, for people to understand what the Biafran people have been saying all this while for a very long time. Recently, a lot of things have started happening. A lot of people have started speaking. The world
medias have now realized themselves, are now speaking out about the atrocities that is now playing out before their very eyes. The mainstream media were quiet for a very long time. They never wanted to carry any Biafra news because the Nigerian government were known for their terrorism, they were known for their corruption. Nigerian government were known for their intimidation and harassment of medias. The Nigerian mainstream media cannot report any news about the Fulanis kidnappings, about the Fulanis killings of Christians in Nigeria. They can only report it on the surface, just a surface report. They don't go deep into the intricacies of the atrocities that these Fulani terrorists sponsored by the Nigerian government are committing. But recently, because of the actions and activities of the Biafran Republic government in exile, the acting Prime Minister Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere, who is the messenger of Biafra, working with our lobbyists, morals, global and strategists, and our attorney, Amanda Biri, the APM has been able to take the message of Biafra to the nook and crannies of Washington, D.C., more importantly, to the senators, to the representatives, to the congressmen and women. And the Biafran media, the BRGIE media, have been able to supply all the necessary evidences that the world needed to know and see about the atrocities of the Nigerian government against the indigenous people. And in the first congressional hearing that was held on June, where the APM, Honorable Ogechukwu Nkere, formally testified before the congressmen and women, he made it very clear to them that if Nigeria is not disintegrated, and very soon, that Christians will no longer be alive, and churches, you won't see any churches in Nigeria anymore. After that congressional hearing, a lot of information and backlash against Nigeria started coming out from Washington, D.C. A lot of senators and a lot of representatives, a lot of congressmen and women started to know what is actually playing out in Nigeria that was being blanketed out by the mainstream media. Nigerian media cannot cover it. So the actions and the activities of our APM through the evidences supplied by the Biafran media, BRGIE media, headed by Mazi Soni Akparawa, and all my wonderful comrades, that information was very vital to what is happening and playing out in Nigeria today, where everybody is now waking up and everyone is now speaking out. Then coupled with the recent congressional briefing on Biafra that was held last month, Washington, D.C. now gave Biafra opportunity of coming to the White House in one of the congressional halls to tell the world about the atrocities of the Nigerian state against Christians, against indigenous population, and by extension, more importantly, against Biafrans in that geographical location. And because of that, the world medias who hooked up on that congressional briefing were able to know all these atrocities that the Nigerian government have been committing against indigenous people, against Biafrans for a very, very long time. Before this time, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, in 2012, what we see playing out today, while the social media is agog with atrocities of the Nigerian state, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started talking about it years and years back as the prophet that he is. He made the world to understand that this is the plan of the terrorist Nigerian state against the Biafran people, against the indigenous people. He even went to America and told the Biafran people then. He informed them, he notified Biafrans that the world should rise up against the terrorism that is coming to Nigeria. That the Islamic nations of this world are ganging up and supporting Nigeria against indigenous populations because they want to take Nigeria over. They want to convert Nigeria to their ancestral lands. Our leader, Ohamadike I of Biafra land, called on Biafrans to support the fight against Islamization back then in 2015. Today is 2025. How many years? 10 years ago, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was talking about what we are talking today. What is happening today? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talked about it 10 years ago. People did not take him serious. People did not appreciate the information that he was bringing to them. Some people called him all manner of names. They say he's a warmonger. They say he's a divisionist. They say he's trying to break Nigeria for nothing. That nothing of such is in the offing. And because the Nigerian government, the Islamic world, now knew that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been able to unravel, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now have access to the secret that they have kept away from the people. They now decided to plan and see how they can stop Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, from exposing them the more. They tried their possible best to see how they can stop Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from continuing to expose the atrocities, from continuing to expose the plans that the Nigerian government has against the Biafran people and against the indigenous population of Nigeria, the owners of the land, because the Fulanese are strangers to Africa as a whole. And they eventually succeeded in 2021. When they could not kill him, they succeeded in kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. But what should surprise everyone, and what surprises me so much, is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a Biafran. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is from the southeastern part of Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo-speaking Biafra. Then you ask yourself, what relates to this? This is an Igbo man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, coming from the eastern part of Biafra, among the 5 core Biafra Igbo-speaking states. And this is a man who is living large and living very well in the. This is a man who saw the atrocities against Nigerian state against his people. This Mazi Nnamdi Kanu called the politician from Biafra land, the politician from the southeastern state of Biafra, the politician from Igbo extraction, from the Igbo-speaking states. He told them that this is the plans that the Nigerian government have against our people. Their plans is to take over our ancestral land. Their plans is to kill every Igbo man and woman. Their plan is forced into exile. Their plans is to take over our indigenous lands. Their plans is to destroy our tradition, our heritage. Their plans are never to develop our land. Their plans is to continue to impoverish our people. Their plans is so much focused on our natural resources. And that if they are not checkmated with the way they are going and with the support they are getting from the outside the Islamic world, that they are going to succeed. First of all, they started sending their foot soldiers, who they call the pastoralists, who they call what do you call them? The headers, the Fulani herdsmen, the Meetiala. They started sending them to indigenous communities to go and inhabit their forest. This was their plan. Their first plan is to continue to inhabit the forest while the people are living in their communities. These people are living in our bushes, establishing camps, while they are using those camps to plan the invasion of so many communities. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told the politicians from Biafra extractions the plans that these people harbored against our land. And when even they did not believe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, their plans, they started implementing their evil agenda, their evil plans against indigenous people. They started chasing people from their farms. When you go to the farm, since they are occupying your bushes, they are going to chase you out. And if they catch you, they kill you. They destroy the crops. You cannot harvest. You cannot plant. And when you accost them, when you confront them, if they don't kill you, they give you an everlasting mark. Through this, a lot of people lost their lives. A lot of communities lost their farmlands. And the Nigerian security agencies are supporting them because this is the plan of the Fulani oligarchies who are in control and in charge of the political affairs in that contraption called Nigeria. With all these things that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu tried to tell the Biafran people, the politicians from the Biafran extraction, the atrocities and the plans of the terrorist Nigerian state, all these politicians did not take Mazi Nnamdi Kanu seriously. They did not even believe on him. the governors, the senators, the local government chairmen, the representatives, the councillors, the PGs, the Igwes, they did not take what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told them seriously. They ignored the warnings, even the warning signs that the Fulanis started implementing in Biafran territories. As a result, our people died in their numbers. Between 2018, 1920, a lot of Biafrans, a lot of Igbo people, Igbo-speaking Biafrans, in fact, every ethnic nationality that make up Biafra land in that contraption called Nigeria, and in the Nigeria in its entirety, they lost their lives, they lost their farmland, they lost their crops because of the menace of the Fulani herdsmen. Our bushes were no longer safe. Our farmlands were no longer safe. And our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, called on the governors of the Southeast, who are the chief security officers of their various states, to establish a security outfit to protect our people and chase all these killers, all these terrorists from the farmland. But what did our leader meet? A lot of obstacles, a lot of pushbacks from these politicians, from these Igwes, from the reps, from the PGs, from the local government chairmen, from the representatives. Every one of them, they never took into consideration, they never took seriously, even with the evidences that are glaring before their eyes, the atrocities of the terrorist Nigerian state. And in 2020, having waited for a very long time for the politicians and the security chiefs from Biafran territory, the security officers who are the governors, having waited for them to establish a security outfit, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wrote them a letter. They never replied him positively. They ignored them. They ignored those letters while our people were dying in their numbers. And in 2020, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu established the Eastern Security Network. So at the bottom line of what I'm trying to tell you, I'm just trying to refresh our mind on where we are and how we got to this stage today. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in 2021, the Nigerian government kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the help of the Southeast politicians, whom Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has spoken to on several times to set up a security outfit for the protection of Biafran territory, having seen the atrocities that the Fulani herdsmen are committing in Biafran territory. Having seen all these atrocities, these people refuse to set up a security outfit. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did set up a security outfit for the protection of Biafran territory, the same politicians, the same political players, the same Igwes, the same representatives, the same councillors, the same PGs who could not set up security now came together and formed the Bubago. They now came together to form a Bubago, and the work and the activity of a Bubago was not to complement the activity of the Eastern Security Network. Rather, the activity of a Bubago was to go against the Eastern Security Network or to antagonize the activities of the Eastern Security Network, that which purpose was for them to evade the terrorists who are occupying our bushes. This is for you to know the extent of hatred that the politicians from the southeastern part of Biafra hated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And now that they could not succeed in destroying Eastern Security Network, they now started going against the personnel of the Eastern Security Network, using the same Biafran people, using the same Easterners, using the same Igbo people whom we are much loyal to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or whom we are pretending to be working or to support the activities of the Eastern Security Network. The Nigerian government now bought all these people over, and their work was now to start fighting against what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu established and what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for. My wonderful people and lovers of freedom, I want you to understand that today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu since 2021 was kidnapped. And up to this moment that you and I are here, all these politicians, all these local government chairmen, all the politicians, all the chief executive of industries, all those who should be helping or should have supported Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to fight against insecurity in Biafra land are now supporting the incarceration of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The Igbo politicians who every 4 years they come out and tell you that they are going into election for the betterment of your life, they have not been able to prove to you that they really love you. The only person that have proven his love for his people, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is still very much in detention. And these Igbo politicians are not doing anything whatsoever in order to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No, rather what they are doing, they are going to Abuja to negotiate politics, their political ambition. They are going to Abuja. Every day you see them flaunting their wealth on social media. Every day you see them talking about development. You see them talking about oneness, unity. You see them talking about good governance. They talk about it, but they lack the implementation. The only man that the Biafran people, the Igbo people have ever loved, have ever supported, have ever desired to be their leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was kidnapped from Kenya in June 19, 2021, and Biafran territory was agog. People were very, very dissatisfied with the action of the Southeast politicians, and the Biafran people now, because of the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, pronounced sit at home, instituted a sit at home to force the Nigerian government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When that sit at home was instituted, all the politicians from Biafran territory, the governors, and all their likes, every one of them started kicking against the sit-at-home. They're telling you that sit-at-home is destroying the economy. Sit-at-home is making our Biafran land poorer. That sit-at-home is bringing hunger to Biafran territory. They talk about sit-at-home. Each and every one of them were so much focused on sit-at-home, but they have not been focusing on the reason for the sit-at-home and how to solve that issue. The reason for the sit-at-home the Biafran politicians have not been able to come out openly of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because there wouldn't have been any sit-at-home if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not kidnapped. There wouldn't have been sit-at-home if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is walking free. And if actually these people want Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be out from that detention, they would have done everything humanly possible to make sure that he is freed, and so that sit-at-home will stop. But the reason why they are leaving anything about freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and focusing on the sit-at-home is because they want the people to forget about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention, and to people to always focus on their stomach infrastructure and not about their freedom. And that is why we are telling you that the Igbo politicians hate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and they hate Biafra, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for the freedom of his people. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for good roads. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for industrialization. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for development of Biafran territories. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for a workable society. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for freedom of speech. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as a matter of fact, told the southeastern governors that he will only stop the agitation for Biafra if they can go to Abuja and convince the federal government of Nigeria to bring their presence in Biafran territory, to open the seaports that were working before 1960, to open it up in Biafra land, to bring back the companies that have been staying in Biafran territory before the 1967 war. Nigerian government have not been able to showcase their presence in the southeast. The southeast, that the vast majority of the resources that power Nigeria comes from, have been left without anything to write home about. We don't have industries, we don't have good roads, we don't have good hospitals, we don't have international airports, we don't have seaports. There is no company that is milking or taking oil from Biafra land that have their headquarters in the 40 states of Biafra land. No, all of them were shifted to Abuja and Lagos. This is the economic jihad that the Nigerian government are implementing against the Biafran people. And this is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stood against. So tell me, you that is listening, what crime did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu commit? Or what crime has he committed that the Igbo politicians, the technocrats, the CEOs of industries now hated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that they can't even speak about his release? Every one of them are focusing on their personal aggrandizement. They are focusing on how they are going to make money. They are focusing on their personal interests, on contract they are going to get from the Nigerian state. They are focusing on things that are beneficial to them and their families, but not things that are beneficial to the general masses, which is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in the first place, was kidnapped from Kenya. My wonderful Biafrans and lovers of freedom, I want you to understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile, these are the only two men living at this particular time that want the best for you as a Biafran. Not only you as a Biafran, for the best for those who even call themselves Nigerians. These are the men who have spoken for the betterment of mankind. These are the men who have put their lives on the line for a better living condition for the masses. These are the men and women who are standing their ground. These men are standing their ground to make sure that the Biafran people are free from Nigeria. So, why are they hated so much? And why do these politicians hate Biafrans? Why? Seeing what is happening and playing out in Nigeria today, you see how the terrorists from the north, how they are being pampered. You have seen how the governors, how the politicians from the north are discussing, negotiating peace deals with terrorists who come with AK-47, machine gun, RPGs, rocket launchers. They came to communities, they kill people in broad daylight. And the politicians from the north, the only thing they can do to them is to call them for a peace meeting. And when these people come for a peace meeting, they come with arms and ammunition, they come with sophisticated weapons. Nobody arrests them. Nobody kills them. Nobody bombs them. But here in the southeast, in Biafran territory, the politicians are looking for the Biafran Defense Forces, whose sole responsibility is the protection of Biafra land and territories, our women and children. The politicians are looking for the Biafran Defense Forces to hand them over to the Nigerian terrorist state. As a matter of fact, the politicians are bringing in the Nigerian terrorist army and police to come to our various communities, start bombing our communities, looking for youth to harass, looking for youths whom they now tag Biafran Liberation Army, just for them to arrest them, just to kill them, sell their organs, and force them into accepting that they are Biafran Defense Forces. The Nigerian army cannot go to where the Biafran Defense Forces are camping. Rather, they are just after unarmed civilians who are going about their normal businesses. It is very, very sad, unfortunate that these things are happening in this 21st century, that terrorism in Nigeria is now an open business for the North. The Nigerian government are responsible for the terrorist activities against the Nigerian people, more importantly, against the Biafran people. And that is why we are standing our ground and calling on the international community to pressure Nigeria to release our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, because they committed no crime known to man. Their only crime is fighting against terrorism. Their only crime is fighting against injustices. Their only crime is speaking for the people. Their only crime is helping the helpless. That is why these people are being incarcerated for no just cause. Biafrans, this is the time for us to rise up and fight for the freedom of our leaders. Otherwise, Nigerian government will destroy the fabrics that hold us all together. I thank you so much this morning for joining me. I want to stop it here for now. In the second segment of this broadcast, I am going to put the link for each and every one of us to make our contribution why the southeastern politicians, why they hated Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, and why they hate Biafra. Very, very important. I salute every one of you that joined me. Chede, thank you for joining me. Monday Osas, I see you. Thank you for your presence. Sipri Lugochukwu, I see you. Chamat Anyu, I see you. Charles Oji, Adenrele Lekan, I see you. Eukaria Iwanyango, and every one of you that have joined me in this first segment of this broadcast this morning. We are going to have a second broadcast in the next few hours. So I want to build this topic this morning so that the second segment, a lot of people will be required to make their submissions and make their contribution based on what is happening today. Because the world is now speaking, not because what they are speaking about started now. It started years back. And the man who made us to know about it is our leader, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, and he's still in detention. Why is he in detention? They must release him now because he has been vindicated. Thank you so much, and I salute each and every one of you. See you next in our next segment, Airborne to the Biafran Defense Forces. I salute our leader. I appreciate our Prime Minister, and I thank our APM and the Kokondem of our time, the Information Minister. And I salute every Biafran that is part of the BRGIE media, and each and every one of you that share our broadcast. If you share it, it's going wide for the world to know what we are passing through. And that is why the world is speaking today. So don't stop sharing. Continue to share. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now so that anytime I'm live, you are going to get notification. Omo Chineke, I appreciate you. See you in the next few hours.